Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I have in frame with me Dr. Nitin Saraswat. And both of us, while greet you as we have started a new year, Happy New Year. But then, Nitinji, I have requested you to join me to talk about something which I feel requires our additional attention, and that is, are we respecting life? And allow me to elaborate why I say that. When you look at macro level, you look at the way we are dealing with environment, that is one issue. Then you look at the way there are nations at war, and that is resulting into human loss, that is another thing. But there is third thing where we are talking about interpersonal relationships. We are talking about how you are having a dialogue with yourself, which makes you act in a way that shows your disrespect for life. And of course, before I request you to share your thoughts, I would also recollect with you as the new year has begun in New York. What we have seen is there have been aggression manifested to the extent on small issues of who will have a tea first and uh, cutting the queue, etc. That one young woman used knife, and one innocent postal worker who was there, uh, he he was stabbed and he was killed. There's been another episode, two of the kind in subway here in New York, where somebody was pushed or somebody was burned. And similarly, I come across news from India where somebody, because of a domestic disturbance leading to divorce, could not handle the way he was humiliated by his was going to be his ex-wife, as we hear. Not getting into the details of all these issues. What is it that prevents us from respecting life? So let us start from the fresh slate. As we grow, is there something that is different now in our environment? And this being a global village, there are few things which are relevant everywhere. Nitinji.
Happy New Year, and thank you for choosing this topic because if there is one thing that humans can never create, at least till now, that is life. So, the first and the foremost precious thing, the most precious thing that we have is life only. But unfortunately, like our own body, the living being in us is taken so much for granted that we never value it. And as we are more into the realm of this materialistic world and this rat race of bigger, better, more, the discontentment is growing at the speed of knots. And this discontentment and lack of value system, they're always connected, and this is making life, this is very contradictory. At one pace you will see people wanting more out of life, but the unfortunate part is they want more from the life, but they are forgetting that they can get more out of the life only when they have life. The only thing that they taking for granted is that the biggest gift that they have is living, because they themselves do not respect this gift of nature, so we cannot expect them to be respecting this particular gift in others too. That's why a lot of self harm, self sabotage, sabotage to others, unnecessary, unprovocative, or slightly provoked people causing irreparable damage and causing loss of life in the world. And the funniest part is when you see very small teenagers, just because of one small thing not in their control, sabotaging their life, self harming, and going to the limit where it comes to ending life.
So this is such a vast topic because life itself is a continuity that we are blessed to be alive, and we are experiencing, and each individual as his own world. So they create their own world. But let us break it up, and probably we'll touch few things. One, the way you react as a child, and when you are mentioning about if you are prevented from making use of a remote, sometimes the expression of aggression is beyond the normal proportion, and there has been cases where this has also resulted into a very big calamity for the whole family. So which means there is a sense of entitlement and attachment, uh, where you feel yourself identified with that act to the extent that if it deviates, you feel there is a threat to your existence. So that kind of mindset, I think, we are building along with the impatience that is there. So how one should address that, we gradually move away from having this side of build up inside a child.
That is why brought the word value system, because how we are bringing up our children. When we say entitled, actually, if you're genuinely entitled, the first thing that you will never ever lose entitlement of is how precious it is to be alive. Unfortunately, it is the discontentment inside which starts translating into I will be happy only when I have everything under my control. So, a father denying you a remote, a girlfriend or a boyfriend denying you to meet or carry on a relationship, or a person cutting the queue and taking a cup of tea before you, anything that is challenging your immediate pleasure becomes like the end of the world, because discontentment inside is so big that anything that can give you a little pleasure becomes a life threatening event. Oh my god, something is being taken away from me, and then you are ready to end things, you're ready to break things. And unfortunately, people never realize it is the inner self that is actually, it needs healing. These people have their inner self bruised, so we need to work on these inner selves, and that is where the preacher, parent, and the peers, they have to work together on these kind of people who are bruised inside. They are very much, there's a lot of discontentment inside that is brewing in them, and it presents itself like a entitlement, but actually that's not entitlement.
So, taking the other side of what you said, there is a discontentment. So, let us look at what is it that prevents you from being happy and contented. When I say what prevents you from happy, meaning nobody would dispute that everybody somewhere is longing for happiness, but perhaps we are missing what will make us happy, or we have set our equation in a way uh, which doesn't serve us as we grow or the situation changes us. So let us switch the question: what makes us happy, uh, as we assume it, and as you would see that this is the way which a normal human mind would would find a doorway to happiness.
In spite of looking at it that what makes us happy, we have to look at it like, okay, how much we are capable of seeing life in toto. It's like a chocolate missed or an opportunity missed is not the end of the world. There are a lot many coming up. It is just the control freak nature of the environment, the 2 minute noodle culture, everything at your fingertip, whatever, what I want, how I want, and when I want it. Nothing where you are being taught to wait. It is okay to wait. Sometimes it is okay to feel unjust. The culture of false woke, being false woke, that is the what we see today is a sum total of so many things that have started going wrong, and now they have started showing results. The instant gratification culture, instant food, instant pleasure, everything at your fingertip, just a click away, that is the danger point. That is why you will see a lot of relationships falling apart, because relationship is the first criteria you can read the health of a society. Relationships need a lot of adjustment, sometimes sacrifice, and sometimes even feeling unjust, yet ready to put in extra effort and waiting until the person understands. And when you are in this false woke culture, it's all about my right, my way, or highway, instant. And that is what is hurting us.
So, talking about highway, I am reminded of the statement or quotation by Swami Vivekananda, where in the context of India, he said, "Tyag or seva हमारे राष्ट्रीय आदर्श हैं." So that is sacrifice and service are our national ideals. Now you put it from the woke culture point of view, or you want that everybody should be for you and not you for anyone or everyone, and why should you leave, etc. So somewhere I think this mental tone also makes you a little bit a part which takes away the sense of collective harmony. Not just collective harmony, inner harmony also, because if you go and you look around and you see that people didn't greet you the way you would like them to greet you, etc., you start feeling bad already, and that builds up if there is something else happens. So when I say I invoke the words of Swami Vivekananda, and we look at the word sacrifice in the context of entitlement, uh, many modern mind logically will bring the question to Nitin Saraswat that why should I sacrifice? Now, that spirit of sacrificing was the glue, or was the magic which was creating the space where you would respect others' desires also, and you would be willing to part with your, like you have most of the mothers, the way they care. I mean, that is beyond the word sacrifice also. That is, I'm just so that is a continuation of your own identity through love, which results into this sacrifice. Now, how do you see that? Are we in a position to bring inculcate those kind of values, like uh, being in a position where you are willing uh, to do for others without seeking?
That's where the whole new age started going wrong, actually. So the woke culture was supposed to be woke. You're supposed to be aware of everything. But awareness towards accountability started becoming zero. And awareness about my rights, where anybody is taking something extra from me. Why should I not be treated equal? Now, the problem is you are the one who is deciding whether you are being treated equal or not. You are the judge, you are the jury, everything is you only. So, the moment you decide that you are given a ordeal, you start reacting. And you never realize that life is never 2 plus 2, 4. Life is sometimes 2 plus 2, wait, and it will become 8. Problem is, nobody is teaching people the art of patience. Nobody is the whole new the environment we are being, unnecessarily infused environment is all about instantness. It's about now or never kind. It's about you have just one life. The mottos have changed. Very wrong mottos. Like life is just like an ice cream. Enjoy it, otherwise it melts away. What is it teaching us? Life is not like an ice cream. Life is a marathon. You cannot enjoy it. First run. First become deserving, then desire. So it has all gone down, and the things have been, you have one life, make it large. So when I say you have one life, make it large, I don't see anything wrong in making it large by trampling upon someone else. I don't see anything wrong in why shouldn't I get the bigger apple pie. So the sacrifice is a far-fetched word. I would be more than happy if people start having little gratitude.
Mhm.
Why this new generation, half of this new generation, is very skeptic about becoming a parent? Because some of them know they have never been grateful to their own parents, and they know what is coming from the next another side. How much sacrifice, how much patience it takes to raise a child. And even if they become a parent, some of them become very good parent, and that's the best part, uh, we live in a village, but this village is so fragmented. Like in one India, we have many Indias. In one America, you will have many Americas. So there are still people who are practicing the old ways, and that's why we are still in balance. Or those still people who are practicing old ways, they are bringing serenity to this new world. But now we have to start recalculating what this new press for pleasure, instant gratification, give me more, my rights, false wokeness is costing us.
Talking about this cost, and it's a huge cost in terms of when somebody leaves, the way I mentioned in the beginning, for no rhyme and reason, either committing suicide or getting at a harm's way for no uh, rationally logical reason, and untimely passing away of people, either self harm or harming someone else. Both. And this again, if you stretch it, you will see that the road rage also results into such situations where some accidents, etc., also takes away the precious lives from us. Coming back to gratitude, when we are talking about respecting life, one, as you mentioned, and all of us are aware, you cannot give even a single breath to anyone, and you cannot give a single breath additional to yourself. So there is some mystical call it, or there is something that we are blessed with as human beings, which enables us to breathe and make use of all these senses, being able to see, etc. Not stretching it too much, but nature or the creator, whichever way you look at it, the sky and the expansion of sky, or the way trees are helping us in the cycle of breathing also, and they give a sense of peace to us. But the lifestyle that we have started imbibing in, we find ourselves restless if we don't have one screen in front of us which is small, and which doesn't have a sense of continuity or helping you in developing your thinking skills in a coherent fashion. Yet so I see that this sense of moving away from nature is also resulting into that discontentment which you initially mentioned. Do you think we should have some conscious collective efforts directed towards making the next generation, or even anyone, more aware about his or her relationship with the nature, and having a kind of a rapport, because in the AC or in the closed circuit, and so your take.
So beautifully put. I would extend it a little further. When you say a rapport with the nature or a relationship with the nature, I will say it should start with a relationship with your own inner self. And I always tell people, always aim for your higher self, because there is a lower self inside you which is all about sensory pleasures. We are humans. We will always have, we will always seek sensory pleasures, and there is nothing wrong in that. But are we just going to live for our sensory pleasures? Or is there something bigger than that that we should be aspiring for? Unfortunately, that link has started diminishing. So, the first thing is the change has to begin from me. I have to ask myself a difficult question. I have to ask myself, am I aspiring to be my higher self? And what does that mean? Am I aspiring to do something which is going to benefit people and nature and may not benefit directly me? Am I able to positively impact my surroundings? And am I looking for some goals which are not just money or anything like that? That's the first thing I think we should be looking at. And of course, spending time with nature and having some kind of serenity to yourself will help a lot.
Nitin, we are talking about a subject that requires whole life, because here we are trying to touch the core of, are we respecting life? And somewhere, based on our observations, many times we feel that we are not having adequate, proper respect for life, which results into these situations. Even the term mutual respect also is lacking many times. You want to be respected, but you don't respect. How do you see that with in the context of the entitlement and the kind of self image which is borrowed self image resulting into this?
That is where I'm talking about this false woke culture. It teaches us just me, myself. I'm never introspecting. I'm never looking about the accountability. I never think of my responsibilities. I just think about what I did not get. And that is where the contention starts. We have to start think about, like, we have a lot, people will have a lot of problem with what the government is not doing for them, how the country is not doing anything for them, and how the parents are not doing anything for them, what all their partners are not doing for them. They never look at what I am not doing, what am I supposed to do. Because if you ask this very simple question, what are you doing? The first thing that you can do for others, for your country, for your partner, for your parents, and anyone you love is to live and live properly. Because if you live, you become an asset. If you are a living being, you are an asset to the whole world. So anybody who is wasting his life, their life, anybody who are sabotaging their life, anybody who are self-harming, because suicide is only 1%. There are at least 30% of people who are sabotaging themselves. And we have to realize, if you are sabotaging yourself, if you are not utilizing your energies properly, actually you are failing in your duties. And then you have no right to ask what others are giving me. So if we start having this kind of awareness back, where you ask yourself, okay, I was given birth by nature, what did I return? No matter if I had only one eye, I was given an eye. What did I return? Where is my gratitude? My parents may have failed in 100 things, but they may have done two things right. What is my return? This country has given me an identity. What is my return? Where is I am? What am I doing for it? Even this smallest sense of awareness will make a whole lot of difference.
Thank you very much, Nitin. As we move towards the concluding part, I recollect words of a very famous American leader: "Do not ask what your country can do for you. Be prepared to do your contribution for the country." Something like that. I stretch it in the context of what you just said, that what the creator has given to us, not just in the form of this human body and all these wonderful senses, but everything around us. So he has done, but many times we feel people lamenting that, oh, God is not looking at me, etc. So at that time they are focusing on one thing which is missing, which is not in sync with what they want, but they lose out on the big picture, that everything is given, actually that is why it is there. So now what way we can do, as per your thought process, I think being kind is one way to give back, being loving is one way to give back, and being not discontented on everything is also one way to give back. And that is where we get the space that we are grateful. And I think being grateful is also one way of giving back.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, your parting words for this, and I think I was actually pained to see a sequence of such news items where precious young lives we lost for for no reason other than misunderstanding of their scenario, their relationship. And I think, if I may just use this 30 seconds to add that using respectful words is also important. Many times you have people just brushing aside the decorum or the dignity of expression. So, finally, your take, Nitinji.
We must remember the butterfly effect. So, one life lost in America will have some kind of a negative impact anywhere in the world. So, if you just want to make the world better, please start valuing your life. Please start valuing every life that you see around and do something for Mother Nature just because Mother Nature gave you a chance to be a creature which could think. So thank it for it only, at least.
Wonderful. On that wonderful thought, praying for those whom we lost, and also praying for those of us who are around to have sanity and sensitivity and sensibility to respect life. And as Nitinji mentioned, to collectively work towards a better world that we would leave for the next generation. Once again, thanking with lots and lots of good wishes.
Thank you
This
very
is
much.
Ashok. Namaste.